familiar with them, they are a British film company famous for their own more ghastlier renditions of the classic movie monsters. Yes, they are known for their own versions of Dracula and Frankenstein, in which they've made many films of. But unlike those two monster archetypes, Hammer Films seemed as though they were not too interested in werewolves because they only made one werewolf movie, which was
The Curse of the Werewolf,
which was released in theaters June 7th, 1961. And this was not as successful as Hammer's Dracula and Frankenstein films, which is probably why they never bothered to make another werewolf movie. This is based on the 1933 horror novel, The Werewolf of Paris, written by Guy Andore. Or maybe it's just Endor.
Chihuahua.
Unlike most other film adaptations, this one is sort of faithful to the book. However, it's set in a different century, and Guy Andore didn't even get credit for it. Well, how do you like that? Back to Hammer Films for a second, before you start thinking that they were simply rip-off artists by making their own monster movies of the monsters that Universal Pictures had previously made famous. It should be known that Hammer Films actually had a partnership with Universal Pictures, and Universal Pictures would serve to be Hammer Films' international distributor. And if you're wondering why I'm bringing this up, it's about to make a whole lot more sense. Since Universal Pictures was Hammer Films' international distributors, for a time, Universal held the home media distribution rights. Well, for some of the Hammer movies. And that's where it gets a little shaky, and I'm not going to go into a bunch of legal jargon, but Curse of the Werewolf was one of the Hammer films that Universal held the home media rights to. And Universal's home media helm was, at a time, MCA Home Video, then it was MCA Universal Home Video, and then it was just simply Universal Home Video. And The Curse of the Werewolf would be released on VHS in 1987 by MCA Home Video. And then it was released in 1992 by MCA Universal Home Video. Yep, the same year that Universal released the second wave of their Universal Monsters Classics Collection. And oddly enough, it is not part of that collection. For one reason or another, it just did not cut the mustard. Yes, again, it all comes down to legal jargon, because The Curse of the Werewolf technically was and technically wasn't a Universal property. But The Curse of the Werewolf on VHS could easily be your property, because both of these distributions are not rare. They're very easy to find. There's many listings for them, and the prices range from $7 to $35. Now, The Curse of the Werewolf was the only Hammer Films werewolf movie, but they almost made another one. However, they quickly lost interest and sold the rights to the story to Tyburn Pictures, a short-lived British-based production company. But it wasn't just a story, it was a legend. It was Legend of the Werewolf, which was released in April of 1975, but only in UK theaters. It never had an international theatrical release. It was a straight-to-video release in the US, and the first distribution was in 1981 by Electric Video Incorporated. And then it was released in 1985 by VCL Communications, which was a subsidiary of Media Home Entertainment. And then it was released in 1987 by Interglobal Home Video. And if none of these distributors sound familiar to you, that should tell you something about the rarity of these tapes. And the rarity should tell you something about the current asking prices. The 1981 Electric Video Incorporated distribution barely has any current listings for it, and those listings are going for around $80. I couldn't even find any current listings for the 1985 VCL Communications distribution, and the 1987 Interglobal Home Video distribution is currently going for around $30. So when it comes to rare werewolf tapes, it would seem that these are where it's at. Where it's at. Get it? Oh boy, never mind. Maybe instead of werewolf tapes, I should call these rare wolf tapes. Just forget it.